things I want to talk a little bit about is how to get your dog in a down. If your dog already knows down, we're going to work on raising that criteria. My criteria for a down is the same as my criteria for a sit, which means the dog is stuck in that position until I release them to do something a little bit different. So, one of the easiest ways to get your dog in a down is to find yourself a chair. If your dog is a short dog, you might need a little stool so that your dog can go underneath your leg. What you want is you want to force the dog to have to lay down to get the treat out from underneath your leg. If you have a clicker, this will work really, really nice with the clicker. Otherwise, you are welcome to just use a yes. Yes is the same as a clicker, and if we haven't discussed clicker training for you yet, don't worry about using one. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a treat, hold it underneath your leg. You're going to have your dog climb under your leg, and when their butt hits the ground, you're going to click. I won't use the word at this point because I want the dog to understand the behavior before I start adding words. When I'm ready for my dog to get up, I'll release with an okay. Then I'll do it again. Click for the butt hitting the ground, give the dog a treat. Move my leg, if the dog doesn't get up, they get another click and a treat down low. You notice I feet on the ground. The reason I do that is so the dog doesn't pop back up. Once my dog kind of has that down and they're really getting down with my leg there, then I can start adding the word. Okay. Down. Same thing, I click when his butt hit the ground. Then I can move my leg, okay. Okay is the word that means you're free to get up and move. Then I'll do it again, down. Good dog. Then I can release my dog again. Okay. At this point, my dog already knows down, so if your dog's getting really good at this part, then you can start doing the next part. The next part means you do not stay in a down with your dog. A lot of people want to be in a crouch position with their dog. We don't want to do that. We want to have our dog down with us standing up straight and confident. So if you need to, you can use your treat. My dog's cheating. Stand. You use your treat to lure their nose to the ground. When their butt hits the ground, you'll click or use your yes one more time. The only release is the okay. Then I'll do it again. Down. Good dog. Okay. Eventually, I want my dog to be completely on verbal because I do canine freestyle. The way you would get that is you would not use your hand to lure the down. You would count to 1, then add your hand. That eventually will phase out your hand because then they learn to distinguish the word versus the hand motion. Dogs are very visual. It takes them a lot to learn an auditory cue. So I'll do it again. Okay. Down. Good boy. I still feed low to the ground though because I don't want my dog's head popping up. If I feed up here, my dog's going to come up like that. Since I didn't release my dog, I'm going to have him go back into a down, tell him what a good dog he is, but he will not get a treat for this. Yes, what a good boy. Then I'll release when I'm ready. Okay. Last thing you want to be able to do is the same thing we did with the sit. You want to be able to walk a circle around your dog. Down. Always pay for the initial down. Then I'll give my dog a cookie for that. Slowly inch yourself away. Me moving my feet and walking around the dog is not a good excuse to get up. When I return, I will click or say yes again. The dog will receive another treat. So that's down. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or a little about a really fun game called All About Choices. All About Choices is exactly what it sounds like. It's a game that teaches your dog how to make good choices. So for this game, we're going to teach the dog a few different things. The first thing we're going to teach the dog is food in my hand does not belong to you. Second thing we're going to teach our dog is food I put on the floor still does not belong to you. Third thing we're going to teach the dog is if it hits the ground because I dropped it, that still does not mean the treat belongs to you. The only thing that gives you the treat is when I am nice enough to give you one of my treats. The very last thing you're going to be able to do is have your dog do a down and put treats on their paws. This is not something you will do if your dog is not very solid with a down or if your dog is failing at the other steps. You want to make sure they are rock solid. When we get to the part about the paws, I'll show you a little trick to help you get the treats on the paws because most dogs do not like that part. So for the first step in this game, you're just going to be sitting down in a chair. You're going to have your dog with you, probably on leash, otherwise your dog will leave. For my dog, I'm going to raise the criteria and he's going to be forced to look at me before he gets the cookie. If your dog doesn't understand the game yet, I wouldn't put it at that criteria. My criteria at that point would be to have the dog look away or not dive bomb my hand. This is going to look really easy with my dog. Expect your dog to do a lot more mauling of your hand, biting at your hand, trying to get the treats out of your hand. So since my dog's experienced, we're going to go through these steps really quickly. With your dog at home, you want to make sure you're slow enough that your dog gets the entire game before you move on to the next step. So step 1 of the game is I'm going to have treats in my hand. My hand is going to stick to my knee. I'm not going to try and keep away with the dog. I'm not going to keep throwing my arm around and saying, you can't have my treats. I'm also not going to tell the dog not to take one of my treats. I want this to be a choice that the dog makes because the choice they're making clearly won't be working. So for your dog, expect your dog to start mauling your hand and licking and biting and scratching. If they're hurting you, you can use your other hand to push them away, but do not take this hand and move it. So for my dog, to get his attention, I'm going to put my hand out here. Notice my dog goes sniff the hand. He knows to offer other behaviors. Yes. When I feed, I'm going to feed away from my stash of treats. So I'm going to do that again. He probably won't come back because he knows the rules of this game already. Your dog will probably come back and go, I want more food, and maul your hand, lick your hand. That's okay. When they choose not to steal the treat with your hand open, that's when you would say yes, take a treat and give it to the dog over here. Next step of the game is going to be food on the floor. It does not belong to you. So I'm going to go ahead and get myself some more food. And I'm going to put it on the floor. I'm going to do this right in front of my dog so he sees that I put the food on the ground. And then I'm going to cover it with my hand. I'm going to play keep away until the dog doesn't steal the treat. If your dog is really good, you can start using eye contact as well. Yes. Again, when I give the treat, I'm going to make the dog get up to go get the treat. I don't want the dog thinking this is about laying down. It's about not stealing my food. Eventually, you should be able to have your hand off your treats, grab a treat, cover your stash between treats so that your dog doesn't immediately come back and start eating your treats. Yes. For the next step, you're going to work on dropping treats on the ground. Does not mean it belongs to you. This is going to be very hard for most dogs. Some dogs catch on really fast, others it takes a little bit longer. You will want to make sure your dog is on leash for this step, or this will not work in your favor. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your dog on a nice short leash. In the beginning, you're going to toss the treat quite a ways behind you. If the dog goes to grab it, you're just going to block their path, step in their way. When the dog can choose not to steal the treat and not go after it, they're going to get one treat out of your hand. Then you're going to come over here and grab this treat. Then you're going to come back and give that one to your dog as well. So for this one, your dog gets 2 treats. This is an extremely hard behavior. Very last trick we're going to talk about is getting your dog to put food on top of their paws. So let me get Bolt back over here. Bolt, right here. So your dog needs a really solid down. Always pay for your down. When you're ready to start putting treats on their paws, you're not immediately going to go for the paw. You're going to start by putting it a ways away, slowly inch it towards their paw. Then eventually it will sit on top of their paw without the dog stealing the treat. This is really, really hard. Yes. If your dog goes to steal it, you're just going to use your hand and block their nose. Good dog. And notice how one treat being given to the dog is not permission to eat the others. That is extremely important. At this stage in the game, I get a lot of questions about, can I let my dog eat the food off the ground if it hits the ground? I would physically hand it to the dog until they understand the behavior, otherwise you're reinforcing conflicting views. The other thing that dropping food is really good for is if you drop pills, you want the dog to hesitate long enough for you to pick the pill up. That doesn't mean they're going to leave it forever and ever and ever. It means they're giving you a chance to stop them from doing something that could potentially get them put into the hospital. Okay. For this exercise, we're going to talk about a game called the off-switch game. The off-switch game is about getting your dog completely amped up and super, super, super excited, and then having your dog let go of the toy and sit while you have the toy casually at your side without going back to the toy, because that's what a lot of dogs are going to want to do. The purpose of this game is to teach your dogs that they are capable of calming themselves down. Most dogs don't really understand that they're capable of calming themselves down. All they think is I can amp up and amp up and amp up and amp up. We want to teach the dog that they are also capable of sitting when they're asked to sit, even though they are excited. This is something most dogs don't understand right off the bat, so be patient with your dog. If your dog is a dog that really, really loves toys, you might want to have a leash on the dog so that you're capable of stepping on it. I'm not going to use one with Bolt right now, but you're absolutely welcome to if your dog keeps running away. When you step on the leash, make sure you aren't repeating your sit command over and over and over. You get to say it once, and then you're going to count to 10 in your head, and then when you get to 10, you're going to go ahead and tell the dog to do it again. We want to make sure we give the dog time to think so they don't train us to keep saying the same word over and over and over like dogs tend to do because that's fun for them. So, if your dog loves toys, this is going to be really, really good for them. First thing you're going to do is get your dog all amped up, and then you're going to take the toy away, have them sit, let the toy go. So I'm going to give you a quick demonstration. Ready? Get it. Get it. Brr. Notice how my dog is super, 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 super excited. I like to use the word mine. Get my toy back. And I'll kind of hold on to their collar and push the toy into their mouth. Then I'm going to ask him to sit. I'm going to drop the toy to my side. If he decided he was going to go back after the toy, I would just put the toy up behind my back for a moment, have him sit, drop it back to my side. He does not get the toy back until he can sit. If you want to feed for this, that's absolutely okay. My border collies don't really like treats, so it's not a big reward. He'd much rather just get to play with the toy again. To play with the toy again, I'm going to use my okay. So I'm going to go, okay, get it. Then I'm going to play tug again. Mine. Sit. Good boy. And at the very end, I can go ahead and let my dog have it. So I can say, okay,